Throughout my childhood, I never really visited Seaworld frequently. However, I did go there on occasion, and I always viewed it fondly. I love seeing the orcas, I love seeing the dolphins, all of that stuff. In fact, I even recall going to a summer camp in the summer of 2017 with my best friend at that time. His name was Carter. This was a camp that was in combination of SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. At that time when I went there, I was just getting out of my freshman year of high school. And I was aware that something happened with SeaWorld, just not to the extent that maybe SeaWorld wasn't all that it meant to be, or led people to believe at least. But I was never really aware of the full extent. And something I actually recall is we were sitting at the seal habitat, the seal encounter. And we had this whole talk where we were feeding the seals about how think critically about SeaWorld, and SeaWorld is a good place, and that everything that people say badly about SeaWorld is incorrect. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, all right. However, looking back, that's, you know, it's the trainers of SeaWorld telling you that, employees of SeaWorld saying that. So it's a question if they really believe that, or is that what they're being forced to say. But that's a topic for a whole different day. What I do remember is I remember that there was something wrong with SeaWorld, and it had to do with Blackfish. But I've never seen Blackfish. Not up until recently. I knew it was all over on Netflix, all of that stuff. However, I just never really saw it. I guess it's a possibility that part of me really didn't want to see it because seeing it would confirm that SeaWorld's not as good as I thought it was, and that, it's not a good place. And so I'd rather live in blissful ignorance. So I never really did until recently. I watched it. And walking out of it, I remember I was thinking, I'm like, that was bad. Not good. SeaWorld's not that good. But it wasn't nearly as bad as I was, thought it was going to be. Because I remember hearing people saying that they couldn't make it through without crying. It's one of the worst things they've ever seen. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I am going to be exposed to something that's going to change my life forever. And I was a little worried, but I walked away from it like, I thought it was going to be so much worse. But I started to think on it a little bit more. And why it did become such a phenomenon. And a lot of those thoughts happened when I was at SeaWorld. Now, when we were taking the ride to SeaWorld, I was, of course, thinking about the movie or documentary, Blackfish. However, I thought that it was bad, but it was a necessary evil because of the research. And that surely, it's been almost 10 years, something's got to have changed. So I went there, I went to the sea lion exhibit, and I'm like, this is really good, The sea lions are socializing. They got a lot of really nice habitats there. Very, it boosted the overall me viewing SeaWorld. Like, this is not going to be so bad. But I remember going to our first show, and it was the orca show. And at first it wasn't so bad, but then I remember one of the orcas going on top of the little plateau thing. And it just hit me. This feeling of grief just flooded me. I'm like, I don't know how I could just tell that thing didn't want to be there. And it wasn't enjoying this. I have no way of saying that's what the creature and, the orca was actually feeling, but that's how I thought it. And that's how I had interpreted it. And my view on SeaWorld is kind of, differed over the past couple of months, certainly. What's interesting is, upon further research, Blackfish was on Netflix for a very long time, up until 2021. Now, you certainly hear Blackfish a lot less than what it used to be. And, when it was released in, I believe it was 2013, um, you certainly hear it a lot less. However, in one of the articles that's below, it says right before Netflix got rid of it, it had 3.1 million views in just the span of January, in 1 month before it got removed. So it's still a very relevant topic, as we can see. We're certainly hearing less about it when it comes to protests and activism and all this stuff, but it still lingers in different forms. It's still very much a big topic. However, for me, I don't want to say it's a new topic because I've always kind of thought about this, but it's certainly my views and my belief have changed when it comes to SeaWorld. I ultimately hold the belief that, in terms of the trainers should be made aware that there's a possibility of this happening. I mean, it's wild animals, it's unpredictable. SeaWorld should notify them. And in the event that this does happen, SeaWorld's PR team and all of that should not handle it the way that they have. Making up false rumors, saying it was their fault, yada yada. They should be saying, yep, they're working with wild animals, they know the risk. It's unfortunate. I wish there was a way to get rid of this entirely. However, they're doing what they love, and this is just unfortunately a side effect. And in addition, SeaWorld provides a lot of good through their programs that helps rescue animals, especially ones that need it right now, like manatees. So many other animals. Because we're in a predicament right now where a lot of animals need saving, and it's honestly getting to the point where too many animals need saving, and we can't. So every single resource we can use really does help. However, you got to ask, does saving a couple worth damning one? Possibly. I think possibly. However, just because we dam that one doesn't mean we have to put them through the experiences that SeaWorld puts their orcas through, especially in their habitat, their habitats and all that stuff. So overall, SeaWorld, I'm beginning to believe that SeaWorld is not all that they believed. I don't think they're this monster that is just completely devoid of any good intentions. However, I think they're a company that's making the wrong decision many times. Even though I'm sure they have good intentions, they're just making so many wrong decisions and failing to learn from their past. And when it comes to me, I'm certainly being made aware of that, and starting to wonder if SeaWorld will have a place in the future. And I believe that if they don't change anything, then I don't think SeaWorld's going to have a place in my future, and I don't know if I necessarily want it to.